So here's the question. Did ChatGPT help me solve a hunting mystery? Last night, I was looking through some old photos of a buck that I killed on opening day of bow season, last deer season in Georgia. I started scrolling back further, looking at the previous year around that time, and sometime in the first week or so of the previous bow season, I had shot a deer. They got away. I brought in a tracker. He brought his bloodhound. We tracked for a long time, and we could not find this deer. The tracker believed very likely that the deer made it, and he said the blood looked like brisket blood. I'm like, the kids use ChatGPT all the time in school, right? And it's just like crazy. But I thought, what if I just try a hunting question here and scratch my brain, an itch that I've had for a bit, where I wondered, could the deer that I shot the previous year be the deer that I shot and killed this past season? They look somewhat similar. So I uploaded a picture of the buck from the 2023 season. I uploaded a picture of the buck from the 2024 season. And ChatGPT told me that there was something like an 80 or 85 or 90%, somewhere in there, chance that that was the same buck. To make matters even crazier, it flashed back to my mind that he had a strange, cut or scar, mark on his chest. And, I thought maybe, my first thought was always just that he had jumped over a barbed wire fence and made a cut. Or I thought maybe he'd gotten in a fight with another buck. Then I flashed back to thinking about that previous season where the tracker said the blood looked like brisket blood. Where was his scar? Right in the brisket. I put in that photo to ChatGPT. With that new information, it said there's an 85 to 90% chance somewhere in there that this is that buck. And it even said, especially if it was in the same area, and it was the same area. Not only that, this gets crazy, y'all. When I looked back at the 2023 day that I shot that buck, it was September 14th. Okay. Now, opening day that year, I had hunted, but opening day was, I think it was September 9th or something like that. So it wasn't even that it was opening day 2 years in a row. It just happened to be that exact date. Okay, 2023, I shoot that buck and we can't find him. That was September 14th, 2023. 2024 comes, September 14th happens to be opening day, and that's the day I killed this buck. All factors point to the deer that the previous year I was calling Big 8 is the deer I killed last deer season, that I named last season Edward Scissorhead. But it turns out Edward Scissorhead was Big 8 from the year before. I'll still keep his name, but hey, that's crazy. So it just goes to show you. ChatGPT, ask it a hunting question, it seems like it can definitely pull its own weight. And its description made a lot of sense. So ChatGPT stated some of the obvious, that this looks like a progression of a buck from the previous year. It also talked about how if the movement patterns line up, it's a very strong possibility. And of course, the movement patterns did line up. It was to the same day as the year before that this happened in the same area. Not only that, based on the backstory of what had happened, it gave some really good ideas why, based on the antlers, the symmetry, the antler mass itself, and how it, got bigger, but that's expected considering the buck grew a year older, and about it shifting core areas after the injury, which is why I never saw it anymore that season of 2023, after that hit. And, at one point it said there was a 70 to 80% chance. It later would tell me an 85 to 90% chance is what it finally ended with when I brought up the brisket situation and showing that picture of the scar. And there it said bucks can tear up their brisket on barbed wire or from fighting, but given the way this scar looked, it looked consistent more with a blade cut. Now, in the end, of course, on September 14th, 2024, I did finally take him down, and it turns out that the whole time, this buck was actually the buck from the previous season on the exact same day. The day was even similar. There had been a light rain, and then the rain stopped, and that's when he came out. You may be thinking, and honestly, I can't really say I blame you, did I really need AI to tell me that that was the same deer as before? I mean, I already had my suspicions. I bounced it off a couple buddies' heads, but I kind of felt like it really could be. Just putting in that information and getting AI's feedback, it really made me feel a lot more sure that that is the case. And obviously, AI is not always correct, guys. It's AI. Like, it can be wrong. But it did a surprisingly good job of breaking down why it was highly likely the same buck and supporting my own thoughts and feelings that I already had previous. So, kind of impressed right now. Alright guys, so let me know what you think. Do you think ChatGPT was right? Did AI get this right? Is it the same buck? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear it. Let me know.